All right, we're live. Welcome to another recording of Purpose Maker, the Midlife Wisdom Podcast. I have a wonderful guest today, Bill McMaster. Bill's amazing. Bill's an icon here and a legend in the Petoskey area. He is from the farming family and the legacy from Bill's Farm Market, which has been a cornerstone of northern Michigan for over 40 years. They grow some unique crops. They have a beautiful farm store that you can visit. And then Bill pours a lot of his heart in some big projects here in town. Manna Food Project, Habitat for Humanity. And Bill's life's a real testament to grit, resiliency, and purpose. So we're going to have an amazing conversation. Bill, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I'm excited to be with you today.
Thank you for agreeing to this. It's going to be a really neat conversation. Bill and I have a unique friendship, one that was born many years ago.
Yes.
We'll probably get into how that happened.
Absolutely.
So let's talk. Let's just say that, you and I met when I was very early in practice.
Absolutely.
So for the people listening, locally, I have a chiropractic clinic that's been in operation for 21 years. Now I'm starting to do a little bit more on the speaking and developing this Purpose Maker, because there's some things that have come into my life that have kind of said I need to get out and do it. So Bill, from your perspective or your memory, how did we meet? Do you remember that?
Absolutely. It was almost 20 years ago when you started your practice, and at my place of business, which is Bill's Farm Market, you came to do some screening to pick up some new customers. And you were looking at me as I walked across the parking lot, and you said to me, Doc, you said, Bill, you look like the guy that needs some help. And I said to myself, you're absolutely right. I had this bad kink in the back of my neck, and Dr. Mike did a screening to me, and I needed help from the farming occupation. You were always twisting your neck one way and not to the left, always to the right, looking back at equipment. And God bless Dr. Mike. It took almost 2 years to get rid of that problem. And I go to Dr. Mike on a weekly basis, and it's been a blessing because good health is priceless.
Yeah, Bill. Well, a lot of people don't understand chiropractic deeply. They get chiropractic from a pain standpoint. With you, we've moved from pain over to wellness.
Absolutely.
And wellness is an amazing part of the chiropractic realm.
Yes.
Basically, what we do is create, I call it micro healing. Like you do these little adjustments and the body heals.
Yes.
And function better over time. It's a wonderful way to interact with patients.
Absolutely.
More and more people are discovering how important it is to care for our health as we age.
Oh, yeah.
And I say it. Our health's going to be the number one thing we contend with as we get older.
Yes.
You have to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So we want to hear a little bit about you, the farm, your life in this town. So if we're thinking, let's start at the roots.
Absolutely.
As a young man, you're born here in Petoskey.
Oh, yes.
Give me a little history on that.
Yeah. Bill's Farm Market is a Huffman farm. And back in 1877, my great-grandparents came over from Germany, a small village in Beekenbach, Germany, and they came to the U.S. looking for a better place to live. They were told there was a lot of good farmland in the USA. So they brought their families over with 8 or 10 other families, landed in St. Mary's, Pennsylvania, and ended up, believe it or not, all the way to Petoskey. And all those families still live here today, Dr. Mike, which is amazing. And
well, I take care of a lot of Huffmans too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. The Huffmans was one of those families, and the Huffman farm is Bill's Farm Market. So it was amazing that we all moved here, and then we wondered, why did we were all farming, came from a small village, Beekenbach, Germany, north of Munich, and why did we come and decide to settle in Petoskey? And my uncles some time ago went back and visited that small village, and those people were so receptive to us, and they loved us coming back, which was awesome. And we discovered why we settled here in Petoskey. As many of you know, it was hilly land. And when they arrived over in Beekenbach, Germany, the lay of the land looked the same as in Petoskey.
How awesome.
So that was awesome, to connect with your roots. And
Really connect.
yeah, it is good.
So have you been back over to Germany?
No, I have not. But believe it or not, some of those younger people, younger cousins, have been over here to visit, and they just had a good time. A couple of them been here a couple of times. And so it's just so nice to connect with your family. And I'll tell you this also. My uncle, Joe Huffman, was one of those people that went over there. And when he got back home, he said, one of those Huffmans in that little village still looks and talks like one of my brothers. So, connecting with your roots.
That DNA is strong, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, what an amazing story.
Yeah, I guess I must say this. Thank God for our elders. As you get older, you appreciate your elders, mom and dad, and whoever it is.
Well, Bill, if you know the rest of my podcast, it's called Midlife Wisdom. And elders have a lot of wisdom.
Absolutely.
Right? That's why I like sitting down and talking to people.
Yep.
I define midlife a little bit longer than we call, in the United States, we talk about midlife crisis and all this kind of stuff. Midlife is roughly from 35 to the nursing home.
Sure.
That's the middle of your life.
Oh, yeah.
So having this kind of conversation and getting some of this wisdom, I love it. And we're getting it recorded. And, we've had a long friendship to be able to have this conversation.
Yep.
So was it your great-great-grandfather that came?
Yes, it was.
And landed at the farm.
Yep.
That you do the farm market at?
Yep. Barbara and John Huffman.
Wow.
And when they came over here, they only knew how to speak in German. And they constructed a 3-mile school. They called it a German school out there. And the Huffmans, the Fedeks, the Wilhelms, and Fosters all went to this school. So it was awesome. And they were taught by Mary Foster, one of, my neighbors, one of them that came from Beekenbach, Germany. But the issue was when they went to go to school to the Petoskey school system, they only knew how to speak in German. So they were chastised. And some of the school folks from the Petoskey school system came out and said, you got to teach in English too. This is a USA. And sad to say, they shut the school down at that point in time. And I wish myself, if I would only know some German, and back then they all knew German, but it was a good thing.
Well, my last name, Wegman, with the 2 N's, is very German.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So roughly your great-grandfather starts the farm.
Absolutely.
Grandpa takes it over.
Oh, yes.
And then what does Grandpa do? Is he running just farming? Is he cattle? What are they doing?
They had a mixed farming, and that's the way most of the farms were in those days. And back in the 1940s and 50s, they started growing produce like what I do. And believe it or not, they had some old Model Ts, and they would bring the produce in the back trunk of those Model Ts and Model As and peddle it in Bayview. So as I say, that was the beginning of Bill's Farm Market, as I would say it.
Which is Grandpa doing that.
Absolutely.
Bayview's got a really interesting history. So I read some history on that. Bayview was a community designed for healing, for people to get out of the cities and take the trains up to be by the lake.
Nice.
That's such a neat concept.
Yeah.
And obviously it's still a functioning place today.
Oh, yes. It's a great community. And a lot of my clients come from Bayview up the hill, and they're at Bill's Farm Market 2 miles away. So
what's one of your memories with Grandpa? Do you have any memories from that?
Well, my one grandfather, they both passed away before I recall them.
Okay.
With grandmother, I had many memories of her reassuring me. That was Grandma Huffman, Mary Huffman. And I remember her teaching me to pray. So, faith is very important and should be in everybody's life.
Yes,
so
it is.
I do remember that.
We'll definitely touch on that some more. Did your dad then run the farm?
No, he worked full time at Penn-Dixie cement plant.
Okay.
At that time, it was living, but God bless them, it was not a nice place to work.
It was hard work.
Yep.
Yep.
And dusty.
So where was that? Where was the
Penn-Dixie is where Bay Harbor is.
That was the Penn-Dixie
cement plant.
Okay.
Yep.
And then do you remember what year that Bay Harbor purchased that?
It's been a long time now.
25, 30 years
yes,
maybe.
It has.
Yeah.
Yep. I would say.
Okay. So Dad didn't do much farming. How did the farming then get passed to you?
Basically, Joe Huffman was the one, my uncle, that
kept
took
farming.
over the farming aspect, not my mom.
Yep.
So basically, I had just, I partnered up with him. He helped me get going, and my family helped me start in the business, and my dad would help out as needed. And we all have humble beginnings. And I remember when I started out in the business, it was a small field in front of the house, maybe 1 acre in size. And I would have tomatoes and peppers and maybe a little pile of tomatoes sitting on a little card table in the garage. And if customers would come, I would run in, wait on them, and go back out to the field. And those were the good old days.
The good old days.
And what's amazing, I must say that some of those same customers come today and say, Bill, I remember that small table in the garage. So you love people that support you
Deep
forever and ever. Deep connections in the
sure.
community. So
1 acre grows to how many do you farm?
Now it's probably, we have woods, and Joe Huffman and family runs beef operation. We have Black Angus cattle. Yep. And so, the whole farm is 300 to 400 acres, maybe 75 acres of fresh veggies and fruits.
Yeah. So it's grown.
Absolutely. And it started
to be able to support a community.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the community. And what better food is there? Fresh food from the field to the table,
Sure.
It's awesome. So, and our employees have grown from me to 25 to 30 people, seasonal.
Right. Yeah. So, no, it's quite a great operation.
It's a blessing to us and a blessing, I feel, to the community.
One of the fun things that I remember with our family is we have used your farm market a lot, but
sure.
In the fall and come the winter, you do the Christmas trees.
Absolutely. I love that.
And we have gotten a Christmas tree from you for 20 years.
Yep. So, and Dr. Mike, you let me know the day you pick it up most days.
Oh yeah, because you're there, and I always love
that.
Catching up with you.
Even though I'm semi-retired, I call it semi-retired. I love to see my customers.
So what is semi-retirement in your eyes?
Staying busy, staying active. No one can fully retire. Just like my doctor, Hodgkiss, told me, don't go sit in a chair. Keep moving. Have a purpose in life. One of my things that I love, before farming was a full-time job for me, and it was a challenge with the labor force. Right. Now I grow about 10 acres, and it's a hobby. I call it my hobby. I enjoy it, and half of that production goes to Manna Food Project and some of the other food pantries. So, it's a good feeling. You love giving back to the community.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that's obviously been very central to who you are.
Absolutely.
Being very connected to the community. I mentioned in your introduction, Manna Food Project and also Habitat.
Yep.
So what capacity have you engaged with those two organizations?
Habitat for Humanity, I was very involved with them for a while, and I still help out and I donate to the cause. But then I switched over to Manna. So, you can only do so much. Focus on one thing at a time, but it's good. And Habitat does such a great job in the community. What more basic need is there than housing?
Right.
we need housing.
So for somebody that doesn't know Habitat, could you just give us like a 1 minute understanding of what Habitat is?
I just absolutely love Habitat because it's a helping hand up, not a handout. You have to put in approximately 250 hours of sweat equity, either into the house that you're moving into or in someone else's Habitat for Humanity house. And then you also have to pay back the value of the cost of the house, which is very low, and you have a low interest mortgage. So you make payments on that mortgage. And we have maybe 40, 50 houses we're getting payments from those mortgages. And then we use that money to keep building more houses. So it just mushrooms into helping more and more people.
Sure.
So you appreciate what you get when you have to put some sweat equity into it. So I absolutely love the program that we do at Habitat for Humanity.
That's a very important component, is people have to have some sweat equity into things.
Absolutely.
To respect it and to understand.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, worker housing up here is challenging.
Oh, yes.
We live in an area that affordable housing is getting more and more challenging just because of the dynamics.
Yes.
The money that comes up here. Have you done anything? Does the Habitat fall under the affordable housing, worker housing umbrella? Is that what it's trying to do?
Not working for that purpose, but for people in the community, single moms and families that don't have the ability to go get a mortgage to buy a standard home.
Gotcha.
We help those folks, helping the people in the local community.
Yes.
That's our focus.
Making a local community healthy.
Yep.
All right. So then you move over to Manna. And there's lots of people that are going to listen to this that don't know what Manna is.
Yeah, I love Manna, and it does so much in the community. And I know a lot of people. Yesterday, I just had a meeting at Manna, a matter of fact. So I love what we do.
Tell our listeners what Manna is. What is the mission, and what is Manna Food Project?
Our mission is to help in a 3-county area, Antrim, Emmett, and Charlevoix County, help people that are undernourished with good, wholesome food. And in many cases, those folks are single moms with kids. So I love to help them out. How can you be productive in life and have a faith and support the family and be good for yourself if you don't have adequate nourishment? Food is one of the necessities of life. So I absolutely love what Manna does. And the different programs we do is we have a weekly food pantry where people come in, over 100 a week come to that and get a nice mix of food, including a lot of the wholesome food, not the junk food. Right. We pride ourselves on giving out produce.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you grow 50% of your 10 acres too.
Absolutely. Yep. And out of 1.5 million pounds that we distribute, I am proud to say that about 150,000 pounds of it come from local farms in the community.
That's a pretty impressive number.
It is. So I absolutely love that. And I'm happy to be part of that. So, and we're a food bank where we distribute to about 50, 60 other food pantries in the 3-county area. And another thing we do is food gleaning from the different grocery stores and stuff. If the produce is a little bit ugly or maybe not looking quite as happy as it was, we come pick it up and we give it away to our clients.
Sure.
So,
because it's still usable.
Yeah, it's a food rescue part of the program that we do.
Which is reducing waste.
Absolutely. Yeah. It doesn't end up in the landfill. So it's a blessing to the community. And then we have like Sharem School. I just love that. I just was over there talking to them. They come to our farm and do some of the harvesting.
Some of the help.
Yeah, they help with it. They save me and they have a good time doing it. And it instills a community give back spirit to those people. And I let them have a little fun. We take them on a hayride, go pick pumpkins. So it's a win-win for them.
Yeah, it's teaching the next generation to how service is an important part of our lives.
Absolutely.
Manna's growing, right?
Oh, yes.
Tell us a little bit about that growth.
Well, we're working as always. We're so busy now, and we got a 10,000 square foot facility. We're looking at the process of possibly building a new building, and we're very excited. So I just would ask everyone out there to, please keep Manna in your thoughts. Pray for Manna. Come volunteer. Come check out our facility, and please donate if you're able to Manna. But check us out, and we intend to expand as we can move along with the process.
I would think that some people in this community don't realize the need for food security.
Oh, absolutely. I guess I would
Yep.
like to respond back to that, Dr. Mike, that I had a friend say, wow, you guys live in the Petoskey community, which is so affluent.
Mhm.
And look at Bay Harbor and Week-Wetansing and Harbor Point. And I responded back to them, yes, but you don't see the need in our community behind the scenes as single moms
Yep.
with kids and stuff. And
Yep.
they need a helping hand up.
Well, we've been called to do that.
Absolutely.
We've been called to clothe the poor.
I
feed the
love
hungry.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
It's well said. And we have to do that. We all should help out as needed. And we're planning a big event out at Bay Harbor. And last season, the event, I know, generated about 175,000. So
Sure. Good
God
fundraiser.
bless, a big fundraiser. So God bless all you out there that help out with Manna and other organizations in the community.
Well, I think this podcast is going to get in front of some people that can probably help.
Thank you.
I'm hoping some people will step up and be called to do that.
Oh, yes.
We titled this one Lessons from the Land, right? Because there's a lot of stuff we can learn by getting our hands dirty.
Yep.
What's one of your favorite processes in the grow process? Do you like starting plants? Do you like the greenhouse? What do you like the whole thing?
And you know what I'm going to say, Dr. Mike? I love the whole thing. I just love the starting process. We have 2 greenhouses, and I love to see the soil. We use Dairy Dew soil, which is a 101 germination mix, which is totally organic, and we use that in our greenhouses. And I just love to see the soil in those flats, and then in a few days, the little sprouts sprouting up, and in a week they might be 2 inches tall. And I just got done planting about 4,000 peppers for myself to the field, and I just love to see that rain come. And God bless all of you for supporting the rain and for praying for it. It was badly needed. And you can irrigate your crops, but I tell you, when a rain comes, there's micronutrients and stuff in that rain, and you just see things grow. It is totally different.
It's different.
You can just see the plants take off. So I love the whole process. And
and we got a good 1/2 inch the other day.
Yeah.
That was a nice rain.
Yeah, I got 0.75 on my rain gauge. So I was blessed a little bit more than you, Dr. Mike.
Yeah. No, that's definitely.
It was good.
What are some challenges with growing that you've overcome? So as a farm gets bigger, you need more people.
Absolutely.
Right? What is one of the bigger challenges you've faced? Is it
there's many challenges in farming, and
weather being a big one?
Yes, weather is good.
Yeah.
That's huge. And then pests and problems with that, a labor shortage. And we do use an H2A program, and it brings the people in legally, and they do a lot of the field work. And in the market for sales, we've been blessed with a good sales staff, but there's many challenges. And I tell people that farming is a gamble, but you win more than you lose. Thank God for that. So
and my in-laws are farmers out in Iowa.
Absolutely. You
Big
told
farm.
me that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Corn and beans, and the same kind of thing. You see that ebb and flow and the weather, and years they do good, years that it's really tight.
Yep.
A lot of that. You might not remember this, but you gave me some business advice a few years ago that was about as good as it could be. I had asked you if every year you focus on growing your business, and you looked at me and said, not at all.
No.
I like to maintain.
Absolutely.
And that has helped me so much for not getting into this mindset that everything has to be growth oriented in terms of business, because that's how a lot of people speak.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Yes. And as we get older, I will say this, less can be better. Being in retirement, do what you do well, but let someone else do the rest. And we grow a lot of varieties of crops, but what's also a blessing for us, excuse me, we have a big amount of connections with local farms in the community for the fruits and the things we don't grow. And we buy them and resell them, and it works out great because they do what they do better than us. So don't do
like somebody growing apples.
Absolutely. Don't us try to attempt to grow apples when
Yeah.
we got John Alton down the road by Traverse City that just does an amazing job with it. And same way with the blueberry guy from downstate in Holland. We don't have the climate for it. So support the local farms in your community. And that's exactly what we do by buying their products, then reselling them. So it's a win-win.
Your statement, less is more, is interesting. You know, I've been blessed to take care of a lot of people in this clinic.
Absolutely.
One of the things I've found really interesting is everybody, and even my affluent clients, as they get older,
Yep.
they want to downsize. I find that so fascinating. But I think as we move through life, that less is more is a very strong philosophy.
Yes.
Because we don't have the time to deal with the second house or the third house or all these different things that come with it. There's something really nice about simplifying.
Yes.
I've tried to live that philosophy from the get-go.
Good for you.
I don't want to try to keep playing that game where you're climbing.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
No, that's not me.
Absolutely not.
That's not me.
No.
But it comes back to a little bit what we were talking about before we got on the air today about identity, you know, and who we see ourselves as.
Absolutely.
And if we're very confused with our identity, we're trying to always impress other people.
Yep.
That's never been me. I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah.
And as you know, we have a little farm.
Absolutely.
Gives us a lot of purpose because there's always something that needs to be done.
Right. Good for mom and dad, good for kids, good for everyone.
It is good for everyone.
Absolutely.
We've got a small greenhouse, so we do some growing in there. We start a lot of our landscape and our vegetables.
Oh, yes.
And it just helps.
Yep.
But our farm's kind of like a sanctuary. It's my place to unplug.
Yep. I
just
love
kinda,
that. Yeah.
Kind of do that.
Yep.
So Petoskey's changing. There's growing.
Yep.
You said you've kind of semi-retired. So what's happened with the farm? You didn't sell it.
Nope.
Right?
Absolutely not.
We can't if it was started in the late 1800s. Got to stay in the family.
Right. Lucas Huffman has taken it over, and I'm still there working with him. And his dad, Paul Huffman, recently retired from the post office. So he's also part of the management team, and it's going well, and it takes a while. And I told Lucas, don't make all the mistakes I did. Call me. A phone call is away. My favorite saying in farming, I've told you this, Mike, is you never live long enough to make all the mistakes yourself. So learn from others.
Learn quick.
Absolutely.
So is Paul his father?
Yes.
So does he have him on the volunteer plan?
Oh, absolutely. He's a phone call away.
Yeah.
And Paul is on the farm because he's running the Black Angus part of the farming operation.
So he knows a lot. And obviously he's been around with you.
Yes, forever. We were like brothers. We grew up and we played together, celebrated together.
Yep.
Everything.
Oh, I love it so much, Bill. All right. So he's a young man trying to figure out how to get this farm going.
Oh, yes.
And he probably grew up around the farm.
Absolutely. Yeah. He went to school to become a welder and machinist. And it's really good that you never push a child or whoever into the business just because it's your business. Let them find their way and want to come back. So he did some welding and machining, and he decided, there's an opportunity on the farm. That's what I want to do.
Sure.
So he's back doing it, and I think he'll do a good job, but he's making a few mistakes. I might not, but sometimes you let them make the mistakes and you learn from the mistakes.
Well, you know this, any equipment that breaks on the farm will get welded very nicely.
He is gifted.
Because
he does all mine. I say, Lucas, I need this done. Please do it.
Because that's a big need on a farm.
It is.
Lots of things break, and you're out on the farm, and a piece of equipment.
He does have a skill there that's
very
needed
helpful
on the farm. Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And then
something else, Doc, can I talk a little bit about my beginnings a little bit more here?
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember a trip way back when I first started in business. I went downstate, and my mother rode with me. And on the way back along I-75, we ran out of gas, and she felt so bad. Billy, why didn't you watch that gas gauge? And then she started to cry. I just felt so bad. And I said, I'll go climb across the fence across I-75 and ask that homeowner for some help. I got to the house and opened the door and said something about gas, and they slammed the door in my face.
Oh, wow.
So that was not a good feeling. So I went to the second house and I knocked on the door, said, "Sir, could you please help me with gas? I ran out on the highway." And he said, "Yes, I'll be right with you." He helped me. He took me back out there and gave me the gas and wouldn't even take money for it.
Oh, wow.
And I promised to myself always after that, I will be like the second person, not the first person. But we do need to be understanding because we do not know what that person was going through. So
yeah, and that
license and learned
yes,
lessons in life.
Yeah, that falls under the heading of grace.
Absolutely.
And having grace is a skill. I don't think we're always born with it, but you do kind of learn it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some people learn it better than others.
Yep.
I feel the clinic has given me a lot of grace.
Oh, yes.
Because I deal with a lot of
you've met a lot of people and you've helped a lot of people, and God willing, I know that my neck is feeling good, my health is good, and we get older, and so you work a little bit more at staying healthy.
Sure.
And that's why I come in on a weekly basis to see you. And I got one more little thing about starting out the business. I remember my first job was painting houses in Bayview and Harbor Point, and I made $1.50 an hour, which wasn't a lot, but I was mighty proud of it because I bought my first motorcycle with that money. So,
how awesome.
So it was good. And today that hardly will buy a candy bar, as you well know. So
we know
that. And I was telling Rosemary Huffman, she's a market manager. She's just like an adopted daughter to me. I told her, "Rosemary, you guys really got it made. You're making about $20 an hour." And I started my job at $1.50 an hour. And she responded back to me, "Wow, Bill, you must have not been worth very much." And then she wiped that smile off of the face and she said, "Oh, I know that, Bill."
So that first motorcycle, was it a dirt bike or a street bike?
Absolutely. A dirt bike to check out the farm crops.
Oh, you must have loved that.
Absolutely. And then I had some buddies in school that we
all got dirt bikes.
Yep. Did a little riding. So
oh man,
those were the good old days.
Those are fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you still have a dirt bike?
Absolutely.
You still ride it?
Absolutely. I might be 67, but I enjoy it.
Yo,
I love the fresh air and I love to get out there, go around, see whatever. A lot of rabbits out in my Christmas tree plantation. And I just love to see nature and check on the progress of the fields.
So rabbits in the Christmas tree plantation, okay, but not in the vegetable field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, one of the fun things that I do in the winter is snowshoe around the Christmas tree plantation. And usually in the tops of those trees are snowy owls or maybe a big barn owl.
Ooh,
and they keep the bunnies in check.
So you might remember this. At one year you had a U-cut. You could cut your stuff.
Yep.
And if you remember, I have a pretty big pickup truck.
Oh, yes.
And we had slipped off of the road.
Yes.
And I had to call you.
Yes.
And you came out with the tractor. And we got the truck out of that situation.
Yes. Now I remember that.
That was the kids were little. Oh,
sometimes those days can be good times too. Yes. Challenging times, but good times with the family.
Nobody in our family forgets that day of getting that Christmas tree.
Yeah.
That was so memorable.
That was a good Christmas tree. I got one more story to tell you about Christmas trees.
Go ahead.
Mary Mullering, they own Mullering Aerospace. And she's a founder of Brother Dan's Food Pantry. Mary Mullering was. Just nice people. And they went and cut their Christmas tree. And it was an icy, snowy season. And it was up on the hill. So here she slid into a tree.
Oh.
And she came back and showed me all the damage to her vehicle. And I guess about a couple $1,000. And she said to me, "Bill, can I pay for that Christmas tree?" And I said, "God forbid, I should be paying for your vehicle."
Oh.
And then a couple weeks later, a person from Bayview went up there, did the same thing, smashed their vehicle up and came back and was going to sue me.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't know if I ever told you that. So
no.
I quit doing cut trees after that. So thank God for Mary Muller and the good people.
Sure.
Here, she wanted to pay me for the Christmas tree. Another person wanted to sue me, and the other person just let it go then because they had insurance. I guess it was a big fancy vehicle, so it worked out. But it was time for me to quit that. Sad to say, not because of you, Dr. Mike.
No, thank you. I was hoping I wasn't the cause.
No,
because ours wasn't too complicated. It was easy.
Whatever. Things happen. It's life.
You said you did some painting.
Absolutely.
I've got a crazy memory in high school.
Yep.
So Buddy and I were working with a gentleman that had a paint company, but he painted barns and silos.
Oh, wow.
So here's one of my crazy stories.
That was high risk.
We made it worse than high risk.
Okay.
So I would sit on the top of a silo, and if you've ever been up on one, there's like maybe a 2-foot circle cap that gets put on top of it.
I don't want to be up on one.
I would sit on that cap, hold the tube to the sprayer, and that was the only thing connected to this gentleman as he walked around the silo roof and painted.
Wow.
And we're 25, 30, some of these 40 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how crazy some of that stuff we used to do.
Thank God you guys survived.
Yeah. And recently, I painted my pole barn.
Okay.
And I remember I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Walking around on that roof, getting everything painted.
Yep.
But those are great, great memories.
They're good days.
Those are the good days.
After doing painting, and then in the younger days also, I would love to haul hay, and I love the smell of hay on the farm. And I love to get out there and rake hay and cut hay. And then the planting of the crops. That's why I decided farming was my calling. After doing one thing that wasn't quite my cup of tea, I decided that I would do farming for my livelihood. And another thing to throw in there is my mom. I went to school in business, and I got a minor from Lake State. I got a bachelor's degree in business with a minor in accounting, which is good for anyone. And she wanted me to go into nursing, and God bless the healthcare people after what I've gone through. But farming was my calling, not doing that. And she understood at the beginning, the financial challenges were there, and starting out a small business, it's challenging, especially when I was the first one to really develop what they call Bill's Farm Market. It takes time to grow it. Lucas has a blessing that I had the clientele built up. I had the equipment. I had the building. So Lucas is doing very good with the Bill's Farm Market
instead
business.
of setting the foundation, you set the roots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So speaking of accounting, I don't think many people know this. I was 3 classes away from my CPA exam when I switched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you. Thank you. For my sake, thank you for switching.
Well,
it's been a blessing.
I was driving in today thinking about the podcast and kind of being inspired by what you do. And working in healthcare, I'm extremely inspired. Like, I love what I do.
Yep.
And when it came to, I remember in accounting class, you start in general accounting as a freshman in college, and there's 200 plus kids in general.
Oh, yes.
By the time I had made it to advanced cost accounting, there was 8 of us left.
Wow.
Right? Because it's just, most people aren't going that route.
Down. Yeah.
And I remember taking a test, and I couldn't figure out, like, I'm talking pennies. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not how I want to spend my life.
Right.
Figuring out a couple of pennies.
Yes.
So when I turned my test in, I told my advisor that I was going to change my major to pre-med. And he tried to talk me out of it. Now, this is interesting. His name was Russ Roop, and he's the former controller for Harley Davidson.
Okay.
So what his argument was, when he makes a phone call to any business and explains who he is, you automatically have a job.
Okay.
Because you've been trained under him.
Oh.
That still didn't motivate. That didn't inspire me.
Yeah. Not the sole reason for choosing an occupation. And farming, you got to love it to do it, because it is a labor of love, and it takes a lot of work, and there's stress moments in the job, in any job, but you appreciate the rewarding moments more than those. So
you do.
It's challenging, but it's a good life.
I've not told this part of my story on the air, so this will be the first time you hear it too.
Nice.
So I switch out of accounting, go to pre-med, and then I did some of my prereq classes, and then I got into like a 20, 30-hour internship at the hospital across from our college.
Okay.
So I'm working in the ER. I'm shadowing doctors. My main job at that point was kind of to shadow the doctor, but then also make sure supplies were adequately stocked in the room.
Okay.
I remember seeing a couple get ushered into a room down the hallway, and I was following the ER doc. It's a female lady, and she told me I couldn't come in on this one. No big
Oh,
deal.
wow.
I went to the stock room and kind of getting some things done.
Yep.
Maybe 20 minutes, half hour pass. I see the door open. I go down there, and this is pretty gross, but it looks like a murder scene.
Wow.
There's blood on the table, there's blood on the floor, blood on the walls. And I'm like, huh. So I asked her, I was like, well, what happened? The lady had a miscarriage.
Oh, wow.
She had a bedpan, and she was kind of fishing through looking for a fetus. And I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what was that couple's name? And I'll never forget her looking at me, and she goes, I don't have time to know that.
Yeah.
And I went, wow.
Yeah.
So I remember walking out of there and going, well, that's not what I'm looking for.
Right. And
Right.
life.
I
Yes.
really want to connect with the people that I work with.
Yes.
So a old baseball coach of mine, I was driving home to go see my parents. I just went by his house to see if he was out. He was cutting grass. So I
Yep.
pulled over. Well, he was a 30+ year chiropractor.
Oh, wow.
And he said, hey, before you make a decision on med school, why don't you come look at chiropractic school? So I went out to a big event at chiropractic school called Lyceum. It's a huge event.
Absolutely.
Lots of chiropractors come back. I think I was like August 19th when I did that. By August 30th, I had my apartment there.
Wow.
It was just like,
Yes.
Right there, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yep. Yeah.
So
there's that one moment, and you have to have a calling in life, and we all do. And then the purpose comes with that calling,
yeah, then you keep going deeper.
Exactly. I love that.
Funny memory I have doing hay. I used to do hay when I was young too, and we're talking square bales.
Right. Me too.
So,
and in those days we were young and strong, and it was fun. And we would have lemonade. We'd have a big dinner served to us, and
stack
us
thousands of them.
had a good old time. Yes.
So
now maybe not so much.
No,
so.
It's more round bales and tractors
Right.
now.
It's
Yeah,
I love that.
Definitely not
it's
the labor.
recognized. Yes.
So we got in a little trouble one time. I was probably about 14. A friend of mine, there was a couple of guys, but a good friend of mine was helping.
Yep.
And after we were done haying, there was an old farm pickup truck. And so I don't know how this idea got in our head, but we jumped in it. And the farm is interesting. It was called Common Ground Farm.
Okay.
And there were lots of people that lived on the farm.
Yep.
At different houses. So there's roads everywhere.
Oh, yes.
We were basically power sliding through the corners on this pickup truck.
Oh, wow.
Having a great time.
Yeah.
And the gentleman we were working for, we're going up this one road. He steps out of the trees. Oh, the look on his face. Yeah. He made us stop.
Right.
And I had to get over in the center, and my buddy's on the right. He got in. He was so mad at us.
I can imagine.
Oh,
lessons well learned.
That was a brown pickup truck with a regular cow. I'll never forget that.
That's funny. Now it's hindsight. It's funny. But it's good days. We learn from those things.
Yeah. If I ever run into him or look him up, it'd be neat to see if he remembers catching us doing that.
Yes. Yes.
So
yeah, I love it. And another little story on the farm is I had my cousin Jack. He was a Baptist minister from down south in southern Michigan, and I gave him a hayride on the farm, and I pointed to the hills. It was in the fall, and all the maple trees were colorful and with the colored leaves. And he says, Jack, this is God's country. And then he said, I correct you on that, Bill. It's all God's country. So I always remember that. So
how do you weave your faith into life? Obviously by action.
Exactly. Every morning I get up in the morning and I start off praying, God the Father, please guide me today and all the days of my life, and give me wisdom as we move ahead each day, whatever it might be, and guide me. So, pray for wisdom and seek it and gain it from other people also along the way.
Well, that's a good way to start your day, Bill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's obviously produced a life that's been wonderful to live.
It's good.
It's good. You got a beautiful farm. Do a lot of
Absolutely.
stuff here in the
Yeah.
community.
I love the community, and I was at a growing. I'm also president of Emmett County Farm Bureau, Dr. Mike. I think you knew that, and
Yeah,
I just love that organization. And I've met a lot of good people, and they've helped me. Instead of me making all the mistakes, they give me ideas, and I've learned a lot from those guys. Plus, I've made a lot of good friends
sure.
through Farm Bureau. And I was at a Growing Together conference down in Kalamazoo. That was about 10 years ago. And there was about 500 of us there from throughout all of Michigan. And Zippy DeVault, he's our national president. He was there and he gave his keynote speech. And he said, I always remember this. He said, the three most important things in life is faith, family, friends, and Farm Bureau. So he added one more. So,
Yeah,
which is good.
that is good. Faith, family, and friends.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, we're going to wrap it up. Is there anything you'd like to add as we're finishing up this wonderful conversation?
No, I would just like to say to all of you listening out there, thank you for being with us today. And I thank you for listening to us. And please come out to Bill's Farm Market, check us out, enjoy the view, and support the local farm community. Eat healthy, stay healthy, and may God bless all of you.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Bill. If you'd like to find me on the chiropractic side, if you're in town, you can find me on the web at northernmichiganspine.com. If you're looking for more of this kind of conversation and the Purpose Maker stuff, it's purposemaker.com. You can see kind of where I'm doing some of my stuff. I have a wonderful newsletter, goes out weekly. It's called Purpose Maker as well. You can sign up for that on the website. And Bill, I just want to extend a wonderful, warm thank you for coming on.
Yep.
It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, it's been great. And thank you, Dr. Mike, for all you do in the community.
I appreciate that. We're going to sign off. So I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much for listening.